Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time on Target play of the shot play of the day morning brief. Running a little bit behind this morning due to some technical issues. I think we're through those, and we're on a different net, so we should be able to last. And you should last today shouldn't drop off right after the market open, like happened yesterday. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about Apple. You know, Apple's got a lot of new things going on right now. They just released a new iOS last night, which is 14.7, which is just kind of a quick update. And then iOS 15 is coming here pretty quick. A lot of the functionality of the new battery pack for the iPhone 12s. If you haven't seen that, battery pack slaps on the back for another 99 bucks. It's magnetic, not like the cases that we've had in the past that snap on, that are really uncomfortable, makes your phone weigh a ton, right? This is more of the magnetic battery pack where you keep on while it's charging, and then when you go to use your phone, you kind of ditch the battery pack instead of carrying the big clunky thing around. But extending life up significantly, and it's passive charging, so there's hope in the future that battery pack should be able to charge other devices that are around it. So pretty exciting time. The iOSs, of course, have enhancements that are really usually pretty technical. You know, iOS type things buried deep in the code, security, all those things that the developers worry about, not so much the end user. But you got the iPhone 13 coming out, so it's very exciting. Every year there will be people that will say it's terrible, but there are a bunch of people that say it's amazing. And why do we care about all this? Well, Apple got hit pretty hard yesterday, along with all the other selling that went on in the rest of the world. So, almost 700-800 points in the Dow. So pretty hard sell-off, and it's bouncing today a little bit, but is now a good buying opportunity for Apple long term, and I think that it is. You're going to have earnings, and earnings can go either way. And you've seen in this earnings season so far, a lot of the earnings are causing the market, the stock selling off after earnings, even though they did everything right. But that can happen. And that could happen again next week with Apple. But I think they're going to see a lot of positivity. So amazing, like almost even record breaking numbers as people, with the reopening trade. I know that's being challenged by the Delta variant of COVID right now. But for the most part, the reopening trade, people getting out and spending money. So, and Apple's a luxury must-have product for a lot of people across the board. So they're looking to dump a bunch of money into Apple. I think earnings are going to be great, and I think the quarter after earnings is going to be good. So even if you buy today, and it sells off 5%, I wouldn't sweat that at all. Just wait simply 3 months, and you're going to make that 5% and more back. In the name is my take on. Excuse me. As far as the questions today. Oh, we're going to talk about the question we didn't get to yesterday. So a lot of people are selling their house. What are the rules with capital gains when you sell your primary residence? And what are the rules when you sell your, if you take your previous residence and turn it into a business property and make an investment, then the investment property, the rules change, right? And now you're going to get taxed on a lot of that stuff. And a lot of people don't know about that. And if you've ever turned investment property, bought a house, lived in it, turned it into investment property, rented it out for several years, and then sold it, about depreciation recapture, which a lot of people don't think about it while they're renting the place out. You get to claim depreciation on the house, but as soon as you sell it, you have to pay it back, and you have to pay it back at 25%. That's not negotiable. And most of us, well, I won't say most of us, but at least when I was in the military, I was not in the 25% or higher tax bracket ever. I mean, not even close. Right. So when I had to sell that back, I was like, all of a sudden I'm paying more taxes than I ever have in my life. But that was because I got to take advantage of that for years while I owned the property. Okay. Let's go ahead. And if you're catching us on replay, make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications bell. If you're catching us on, if you want to join us live, it's $25 a month to come on in the room. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, here's our lineup card for today, Tuesday, July 20th. Standard disclaimer applies. It's a financial education presentation. You have to do your own due diligence for acting upon anything here this morning. Full disclaimer is that information is available at ototnow.com. We're going to grow our money, protect our money, live off our money. Today is all about growing our money. Using one of the best stocks that's out there, Apple stocks before earnings. And we already talked about the question of the day. The flow is standard. We're only going to look at one chart, and that is Apple. All right. Let's do more importantly, though, for those that maybe got a little bit excited about the numbers in the market yesterday, let's go ahead and take a look at where we are in the overall market. So get this to where I can see it. There we are. So off to the right hand screen side over there, you know that we stepped back pretty significantly yesterday after we're on what 4 or 5 day red candlesticks in a row, and again that's where the market is lower at the end of the day than where it's open. We'll zoom in here a second and look at the 5 day in the SPY, which is here. Keep meaning to change that back. SPY 5 day, which is this chart here. So rolling over pretty hard, and we had a little bit of love this morning, a little bit of a bounce, but again, that looks like we might open around even. Obviously, Bezos and his space flight are dominating the news cycle, but it's only 10-minute flight, so literally they'll be down here probably before the market even opens. But anyhow, because that's what's in the news, at least at the moment. And then setting up for the day trades, we're going to have two. You're looking at long in CCK and short in PPG, and I'll tell you those stories as we get closer. All right, moving back over to Google Chrome, we'll check out these. There's the Bezos headline, and show you these futures. Man, the futures were up pretty big earlier, and they're kind of fading as we saw on the chart. So we'll keep an eye on that. As far as the European Union, green across the board, but barely, again off of a 2% loss today, almost or yesterday across the board. Asia markets are down across the board. Bonds, look how low the 1.13. Again, it broke to 1.2 yesterday. So again, literal. There's your Bezos capsule on the ground there. You can see. Looks like everybody's safe and sound, no problemo. So great news for space flight. But this bonds, I mean, look at these interest rates, unbelievably low. Have some clients buying a house yesterday, even their 30-year was down at I think it's 2.75 or 2.875, one of the two. So I mean, really good numbers out there. Crypto, skip to that. Crypto, Bitcoin's down below 30,000 for the first time in a long time. So again, we'll see if it holds there, or it could be a lookout to below situation. All right, as far as the one stock we'll take a look at here pre-market real quick is just the Apple. Since we're coming up on the market open, so you can see, where do you buy in here, right? We had all this time to buy in, but if you didn't, again, and you're looking for an opportunity, pretty hard sell-off over the past couple days. So could it do this? Could it fall all the way back down to the 125s, 120? It could, but I really don't see a scenario where that happens. But it could. When you see congestion like this for like 6 months in a huge name like Apple, generally that's marks a new floor for the stock. So I don't really see it coming down much more, and before it continues its path higher. So anyhow, if you get into the ratios of Apple, really when you look at PE ratios, it's pretty reasonably priced for a tech firm, especially as good as it is. All right, let's go ahead and get over to TD Ameritrade and set up for the market open. We're about 30 seconds out here. So there's TD Ameritrade, and give me a second, I'll get set up. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time On Target play of the day here on Tuesday, July 20th. We have 3 screens in front of you on the TD Ameritrade ThinkPipes platform, and 10 seconds to the market open. Have a 1-minute chart over here on the S&P 500. CCK, we're going to go into the 1-minute chart here. That is our long for the day, and then PPG is our short. There is the opening bell. So a lot of this will kind of be determined by what the market does here in the morning. I think it could go either way. We could have a nice bounce from yesterday's pretty hard sell-off like we were seeing in the market open, or we could see the market continue to sell off. So we'll kind of watch that for a second to see how this is going. I really do like both of these are earnings plays. Again, CCK earnings long, that's Crown Holdings. Really good numbers that they posted. And then PPG have some increase. They posted decent numbers, but they have some increased cost that is going to be baked into the next quarter that they announced. But I think that could be a pretty negative headline. So if anything, I want to try to short here. So when you think of a $150 stock, you think of a $1.50 stop, maybe $1 if we can get it. So we want to let this kind of climb up here for a second. 155.5 is the high of the day. We'd have to pad that by just a couple cents, but not enough to throw the math off. And then really 154 is where we want to take this to the downside. So if it breaks below 154, we're going to use 154 as our entry point. There it is, 154. So we're in this short, and 155, call it 155.6 for our cover in the high of the day. We'll pad that by 10 cents there. So $1.60 stop, which is less than ideal. For the math, I'm going to use $1.50 just because. So we're slightly off our 3-to-1 ratio, but I don't want to have to do math on the fly right now. So it'd be 154. Our 1R stop is going to be 150. Hopefully it goes right to it. That way I can just simply point at it. Get the arrow in here. This is short. And it's falling nicely, so that always helps when you're talking about a trade. So 152.50, there's the first R point, is where it's sitting here. So where was 152.50? About right there. That's your 1R point, and then you got to go 3 below that. So we're talking all the way down to 149.50 as far as the exit point. But that's the trade for today. Certainly, I think that's a good deal if the market continues to sell off like it is, at least here at the open. All right, CCK, not really moving much, so I'm going to leave that. The other long was IBM, which I really kind of can't get behind. But they did crush earnings and they're bouncing higher. This stock has kind of been a house of pain for a long time. Another one that falls in this category is AT&T. It's just sold off so hard for so long that it's hard to get behind that name. Nice dividend though. So while it's losing you money, you do get some nice input there. And then Luckin, that battled the forces yesterday, ended up in the green, right? So that's bouncing. We'll take a look at the 5-day. It's a little more descriptive of the journey there. Get ready. The trade's about to bust out here. So either make sure you have your stop in or 155.60. Just make sure you have it in. So if it does hit it, you are out and clean. If it doesn't hit it though, this looks pretty good because it's facing resistance right here in this 155 range. So just keep an eye on the trade. And if you're down an R, you're down an R. No big deal. All right, back over to Luckin. You can see the story dipped all the way down here to touch the $12 low, bounced up $1.50 there. So again, depending on your entry point, if you've been in this, there it is. We're out of our trade on the right side for PPG. So kill that off. Red X of shame. And I'd be done with it. If it's strong enough to push back when the market's selling off like that, then you're not going to get that move down that you want there. But back over to Luckin, up 3%, looking good. It was up higher earlier. So up to, well, it's about where it is now. So about 3% on the day for Luckin. And the other short was MSTR. Which is selling. This would be a short if you buy the Bitcoin. Bitcoin's selling off. So a lot of these are Bitcoin or cryptocurrency proxies plays. So again, if you're in these names, as a proxy, just be careful, right? Because a lot of people, that's how they're playing it. So, just be careful there. All right, let's zoom out a little bit and talk about what's going up and down in the bigger picture there. CBD name up 5%, AMC's in play, IBM we talked about, Luckin up on the leaderboard there. Excuse me, Luckin, there we go. So a lot of spec names up top. Delta Airlines, again, I don't like airlines or cruise lines, but they both got hit so hard yesterday that they're bouncing today. I am a buyer Raytheon here, wherever it bounced around to. Raytheon, again, is a long-term investment that has just gone, it's just been so painful. So let's go out here to like a 6-month chart. So, it's been kind of barely creeping up, and now it comes back in. So I think this is your entry point to try to get on a name like Raytheon. Okay. See what else we have going on here to the down. Oh, I see Blackstone bouncing up, or at least I thought I saw it. All right. So downside TQLB, that's a spec name, down 17%. Nicola K. Webb, that usually means NEO. I'm sure Alibaba's in here somewhere. Yep, there's Baba down here at the bottom. A lot of the Chinese names getting hit a little bit, but overall not too bad. So it seems like there's a lot more names in the green than there are in the red, and the markets are indeed holding about a quarter point higher. So, all right, let's leave this and go over to our question of the day, which again is the what to do. What taxes do you owe when you sell your home? So it depends. It's the ownership rules, what you're looking at. So we're going to go down here, and if you were single, again, singles 250K, married 500K exemption is that what you're looking for, right? And that's pretty significant. And those are good numbers. I mean, we're in a crazy market right now, so a lot of us are probably bumping up against these numbers. Remember, that's an exemption, so you don't pay for that amount, and then you only pay for above that. And again, keep good records anytime you do any home improvement sort of stuff, because you get to subtract that off your capital gains, right, as an expense when you sell it. So you may not think you need records at the time, but you will when you go to sell the house, which again could be decades down the road, if you will. Okay, all right, cost basis, cost of any improvements, we just talked about that. And then where is the ownership rule? Okay, somewhere in here. It's the you got to live in the house for 2 years. Okay, here it is. The property was not owned. This is where you get the exemption for at least 2 of the 5 years. So when you sell, if you lived in a house and then you left the house and you rented out for less than 3 years, then you're okay. This still qualifies. If you own a home and you're out of it for more than 3 years, then you run into the situation where now you're going to end up owing taxes on that because it's now a business asset. If you're in the house less than 2 years, I think you run into some issues as well. Or no, I'm sorry, it's if you sell another home. So if you bounce around in a short term, then you could end up using taxes on that. And again, it's trying to reward people that have bought a home and lived in it for a couple years, not just bought a home, made a bunch of money and flipped it, right? So that's why that fence is there. So 2 of the last 5 years. If you're military, that does extend out to 10. So there's some benefits for the military there. I don't know if that comes up in here. Correct. Good question there, Burner, in the chat. So it's 2 of the last 5 years. So that's the key, is if you can buy a home, rent it out for 2 decades, and then go move back into the home. As long as you live in that home for 2 years, now you've reset that 2 of the last 5-year clock. And a lot of people do that. Now that could be a huge inconvenience in life, because most of us, the old home isn't as suitable to either the size or quality of life or whatever the situation may be. But yes, you do have that option. Now you have to physically move there. There's no way to really speed and throw a family member in there or that sort of thing. So just you physically have to go. The single or couple, have to physically go occupy that house to be able to qualify for this. So that's kind of the deal. You can get into some advanced stuff to where if you sell it and buy another piece of property, there's a 1031 exchange that's out there, which is now this deal where you don't pay. That's how ETFs function in the market, is you immediately sell something and buy something else, so that way it's not considered a taxable event because you stay in the same space. So that is really how you can do that. Whether if you're going to get into this, you need to get pretty smart about where it is, or if you're right on the fence of some of these timelines, you might want to take a hard look at this before you buy or sell your home from there. So, all right, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for asking that question there, Burner. Sorry the trade didn't work out, but the market's holding higher yesterday, so at least the bloodletting from yesterday should be over, and should be set up for a better day today. All right, with that, I'll let you go. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Bye.